Hello, my name is Roy Utley. In August of 2013, I decided to curate a show about the art of political change. In September, with the help of many talented friends, we had that show.
And I worked at a toy store as a retail sales clerk, and that was my regular normal life until my husband got sick with cancer. And then he got sick, and the doctor and the hospital and everything, it was really challenging. They wouldn't let us see the record. The doctor called me Little Miss A-type personality just for asking questions. You know, everything went wrong, and my husband lasted for 12 weeks from the point he was hospitalized to the point that he died. And what that did to me is it made me become an activist. So I started painting a really large mural in Washington, D.C. about why we needed to change healthcare, and I did this the summer of healthcare reform. And it became part of the national political debates about healthcare reform. So we got picked up by all the major news outlets. I decided I would do everything I could to try to change things so other people didn't have to suffer as he did. Well, I testified before a subcommittee of Congress about this thing called meaningful use, that patients need access to their medical record. And my testimony and others was taken so seriously, they changed the rule. They made it where patients were part of it. Yes. So political art can be really important for actually changing public policy.
This painting, this was the morning after President Obama had ordered a drone strike on a border city or town between Afghanistan and Pakistan, and it ended up killing 17 people. And so it's just the whole idea of the countries that are droned by us. A lot of those people have to actually live looking up to the sky a lot of the days, listening maybe for a drone engine or something, and avoiding, large groups of people, and because you could be bombed at any time.
One piece is about Che Guevara. He was born in Argentina, and he was, of course, known. He's the guy that's in the T-shirt that everybody wears. Nobody knows who he is. I've done a lot of research on Che, and I've sort of become disturbed over the years by the picture that has been painted about a psychopathic murderer. Very charismatic, like a lot of murderers are, but nonetheless, so Che is an icon. His photograph by Corda, the famous, it's called Guerrillero Heroico, the heroic guerrilla, is the most reproduced image in human history, the most reproduced photograph in human history, I should say, because of the billions and billions of T-shirts, more than anything else. So this piece is inspired by the fact that my father was in the Cuban Revolution. Like, it's full of these quotes about Guevara. Quotes, very racist quotes, very homophobic quotes. And the piece is called The Real Che.
Everybody seems to really love it. I mean, I get really positive responses, and they just touch my heart. It's sort of like people say, it's beautiful. I love it. This is fantastic. This is it. You got it. And when you see that kind of connection with people, seeing your art and really appreciate it from their heart is just, you can't beat that. I mean, forget about selling it. I mean, that thing is like, that's part of your soul. I mean, you can't beat that. I love it. So yeah, I got more response like that, and it was just wonderful.
It's just like I'm a martial arts instructor during the day. That's what pays the bills. I teach from 3 to 84. It was our oldest student. I teach them all, and like the main issue is awareness and prevention, not how to win a fight. It's avoiding conflict and resolving conflict and diffusing, and not resorting to this. You know what I mean? So a lot of what I post about and talk about is like, stop this. So this is a piece that my homeboy asked me to do on his mixtape, and he knows how my mind works, so it's a perfect one for me. It's called Without a Gun. I'm up in Strawberry Fields, Central Park, and it's sundown. It's wrong, but it's real. Mr. Lennon was gunned down. His punks packed pistols for power, pathetic practice. Forget a fair fight, afraid of getting your ass kicked. It's so much easier to destroy than it is to build. You can have enemies for real, but still never wish to kill. But you want to be an outlaw, just like in the Wild West. Bitch in your heart. Without your nine, you just spineless. From Lincoln, Martin Luther, John Lennon, and Pac, peace in the streets is the only way to better your block. And you can set the example and put an end to the shots, but you a coward-ass bastard, and it's never gonna stop.
What I wanted to say was, I've been homeless myself many times. I've been hungry to the point where digging my fingers in a peanut butter jar that's already been emptied to the max, just so I can get something to taste. And I've been on the streets. I've been here as a political activist since March of 1993.
How do you feel about being a part of this exhibit?
It feels good. There are no restraints. One thing a poet loves is not to be restrained on expressions, worried about hurting feelings. But when you have an audience that comes in and they know the topic and they're aware of it, it makes it a lot easier. So it feels good to touch on a lot of different things. You know, whether it could be political or even something that might touch family a little bit there.
What sort of reaction are you hoping people will have?
A heartfelt reaction. Something that I guess, you know what, I would say mind-changing. You know, and it doesn't have to make you change your mind on your view, but as long as you thought about it. As long as you were able to walk away and say, okay, you know, I can respect that view. I don't have to agree with it, but I've heard it, I respected it, and if they can in turn explain why they thought that way, you know, it also helps out a lot. And that's the beautiful part I liked about how the poets mingled with people afterwards and explained themselves and talked about it. So yeah, that's I guess I want people to walk away with not a change of mind, but just a change of mind. Yeah. Oh, I might have to use that in a poem one day.
Art of political change.
I was excited because, you know, as an artist who works with message art, often we're sort of relegated to the side. Because we don't do art for art's sake, we do art as a tool toward getting a message out. And it was really great to be recognized as such.
Art it transcends the politics of the day. You know, it can take politics and what's going on in the world as its subject matter and play with it and turn it into something different, something greater, something more hopeful. And I think it's important for art to do what it's supposed to do and give people a voice in a world where people don't always have a voice. You know, because unfortunately nowadays it's even though you can keep in touch with people, it's easier and easier to keep in touch with people. It's really hard. It's getting harder and harder for people to really be heard outside of the corporate controlled media, and you know, it's just a difficult time for free speech.
And do you think that the
For me, it's really important. I do a lot of political work, and I do have success with my art. I do paint full time, and I tended to be surprised after all these years of living in DC. It's DC, and I'm still surprised at how little political work is created here. And so this show is one step toward hopefully maybe more political shows in the future.
I've been living in Washington here since 1992, and I'm amazed that in this most political of towns, how rare it is to see political art. It's like non-existent. So it allows people that have a little bit, who are artists, to flex muscles, political muscles that a lot of times are quiet.